That's right. I'm boogieing to Christmas music because it's December and I love it. Love Elvis. How about you? Do you like Elvis Christmas music? And the other thing I really love is my new best friend. Watch. Alexa, off. Boom. And not only do I turn off the music, I can turn on all my Christmas lights or turn them all off with one command. I love technology. It's so much fun. But it is Friday morning. It is the Women Talk Show. And before we get going with my wonderful, wonderful guest, I want to talk about, sorry, I got like too many moving parts here. Give me 1 second. I got to get, I don't know what's going on, but I got to get going. Yeah, I think we're on air. It looks like maybe, I don't know. I do not know what's happening. My phone might be a little bit behind, but before we get going any further, I want to talk about what's going on next week. So let's bring on my little banner here. And we have some really, really amazing event coming up because it is the holiday season. And at Women Talk, we always have our holiday stories, which is so amazing. I had our first event in Edmonton on Wednesday, and we had somebody sharing their memories as children from South Africa, India, Russia. Anyway, like it just was on and on and on. Like it was so much fun. And then we went in the crowd, we went through the audience, and everybody shared their favorite food memory. And that is so special. As you all know, I am a huge foodie and I love not only the food itself, but what it does for people, because nothing, and I mean nothing, brings you back to your childhood memories like your mom's best Christmas recipe, and you just right away you're dreaming and remembering. So bring your recipes at Women Talk and come and share it with us. What did you do as a kid for the holidays? It was amazing. And I want to talk also about what we did yesterday. So my very, very good friend, Shauna Marie, and I went around people's homes and picked up their donation to Made by Mama, because Made by Mama in December are very busy. They take care of a lot of people, and they have their 12 cans of Christmas. So we went around and picked up the 12 cans of Christmas from a whole bunch of people around the city, and it was so much fun. So this is the beginning of the 12 cans of Christmas of what we picked up. And if you go to any Women Talk events, bring your food donations, because there's a lot of people that are in need. And let me just, sorry, I gotta bring that back down. And I want to talk before we start with my guest this week about my guest next week. On Wednesday in Edmonton, we had Susan Jensen, who used to be Klondike Kate. Beautiful voice. This woman has got such a great voice. And she's got an amazing story about finding her father. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. And who knows, maybe I can convince her to do a Christmas song for us, because she's a beautiful, beautiful singer. So tune in next week for Susan Jensen, who's going to come and be my guest on the show and hopefully share a little song with us. But without any delay, let's bring my fabulous guest this week. Her name is Irma Goosen, and Irma is a Women Talk member, a speaker, an author, and you are on, Irma. Hello, baby, everybody.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am sensational. So, how long have you been coming to Women Talk?
Wow, I think it's close to 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, and you have shared your stories in in quite a few locations as well.
I have a visitor.
Who's this little guy?
That is Rocky. Rocky the tiger.
Hi, Rocky. Oh, he's like, who the hell is that weird woman? So you've been speaking at Women Talk for a few years now, and your topic of choice is bullying. Now, tell me why that is.
To put it quite bluntly, we almost lost our daughter through bullying. We didn't realize how severe it was until by accident, it was pure divine timing, I would say. We found out when she went for a checkup for knee surgery at the Children's Hospital, and she just had a meltdown. So they took her upstairs and they talked to her for 3 hours. And that's when I found out how bad it was. And that because the temper tantrums, the outbursts, the dark mood swings was because she didn't know how to deal with the bullying. And it was pretty bad. The counselors at school were no help. They said she was a drama queen. So when this happened, we found out she had written a letter. It was already ready. She just didn't know when, because she knew I would be devastated. And she told me afterwards that was the only thing that held her back, is the fact that she knew I would not have been able to cope well with it.
Oh, like, oh my gosh. So what did you do at that moment? Like when you heard that, did you like immediately run to her? Was she in the room? Like what happened when you found that out?
You know, when you sit at Children's Hospital for 3 hours and you get called, it's time to go upstairs, this is where you go, you wonder what is happening. The stomach gets all tight and you start shaking because something must be up. And I walked in and the doctor said to me, she would like me to sit down. And then she told me that she would tell me something and then my daughter would tell me the rest. And the first thing she told me was that my daughter had cut herself very severely because that was the only way she could cope with the turmoil.
Did you know she was cutting herself?
No. What I did notice was I had decorative knives with wolf heads on them in a display case. And I kept on noticing that they were being rearranged. And I couldn't understand why. So she had taken these knives. And what she told me afterwards is when she saw the blood, when she had the pain, for just that moment in time, she didn't have to worry about the emotional turmoil. So that was what the doctor told me. And then she said my daughter wanted to tell me something. And, you know, it's bad enough to hear your beautiful, perfect daughter is harming herself. And then she told me, and her words to me were, Mom, I wrote a letter to end my life. And the doctor told me I should tell you.
Wow.
My stomach dropped.
So what did you say to her? What was the first thing you said to her?
I was in shock. I just stared. I couldn't talk because your whole world just disappeared from underneath your feet.
So was there help for you? Because as a parent, you're, like you said, you're in such shock. Like, were you able to find help on what to say, what to do?
I told her that together we will find a solution and we will stop what's happening. I am with her all the way. It didn't matter what she did. I was on her side and we would protect her. So the first thing we did, we told her that she could quit school. She could just finish her IB art because she's an amazing artist. And she's starting to do the illustrations in my book. So that was the first thing. The second thing, we went to our family doctor, who was amazing, just amazing. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then she asked for a cat, and specifically a Siamese cat. So I said, we will get a cat. So with the family doctor, she was so great. She told her she would be on anti-anxiety medication. This would help her, but she needed to take her. She was old enough. She was 16 at the time. She needed to take the medication by herself. I was not going to be responsible for that. The other thing she told her was that, yes, she could use the medication to try and commit suicide. She said there are a few things that could happen from this. First, it could work and she would be gone. She said she needed to understand that it was not the parents' fault, anyone's fault for her making that choice. The choice you make to take your life is on you. The next thing she told her was that the medication, she took too much of it. She might still be alive, but she might be in hospital or in a hospice for the rest of her life, where she would have drool coming out her mouth and all her private ablutions would be done. And she painted such a scary picture that my daughter never did. She took the medication as prescribed. So that helped her a lot.
Wow. So this whole thing obviously sent you on this journey that now you are trying to help people with bullying. Now, do you only focus your attention to children or adults, or how does that work for you?
I talk to adults and young people alike, because we as adults need to understand that there are signs that they are giving us, and we should be open to it. We don't always recognize the signs. I saw the signs. I saw long sleeve shirts. I saw, I watched the temper tantrums. I watched the dark room, just wanting to sleep. That all the symptoms were there, but I couldn't find any programs at that time with a school to help me. And when I sent her to a counselor, she went a couple of times and she told me, Mom, the counselor is great, but I can tell her anything and she would believe me. I can lie to her and she would believe me. She said she needed to work through this, and I am so grateful she did. She is doing amazing. But it was a long, long trek. It probably for about 3 years after that, we went through with the doctors. The cat helped so much. And that was another freaky story, because she wanted a Siamese cat and she chose the lady where we were going to get the kitten. So we rang the doorbell and the lady opened the door and she said, okay, she could go in and the kitten will choose her. And I was, the kitten will choose her, really? And then she stopped me and she said, she's going to be okay. And I thought, who is this woman? She doesn't know me from a bar of soap. And this was a lady, she was psychic. And that was the first time I came across someone who was psychic. So that was also quite a revelation to me, because
isn't it weird when you're a person sort of like in your left or right brain and you're so logical and all of us, because you're an engineer, right?
I'm an engineer, yes. And she said this to me, and to me, things are black and white. What? Yeah. But, my daughter sat down. All the little kittens were all over her lap, because animals gravitate towards her. And I think people struggling, animals gravitate towards them. Animals want to heal. So in the back of the room, there was this little gray Siamese kitten with these little paws, just watching everyone and everything happening. And my daughter looked up and her eye caught the kitten's eyes. And he toddled up to her, he dropped into her lap, and he fell asleep. That cat didn't leave her side for a year. Wow. We had to put the litter box in her bedroom. It refused to leave her room. When she was in the bathroom, she had to take him with.
Isn't that crazy? That's just so different, And sometimes, like when you're not in that world of seeing the weird other experiences, it's Like, it's just so mind-blowing to see something like that happen. So, if you had one piece of advice for parents and teenagers, because sometimes, life is busy, and you may not see the sign, or you may not understand the sign. So as a parent, what should you be looking for in your child that that they might be bullied?
They don't want to go to school. They say they are going to school, but they're skipping school. They want to sleep all the time. They don't have friends coming over to your house anymore. When they talk about anything, it's negative and angry, or they don't want to talk at all. So those are some of the systems. The long sleeve shirts is another one, not wanting to show any skin, especially in the middle of summer, is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
For the young people, it's okay to talk. Even if you're angry, even if you're a grown up that you trust, yell at them, tell them how angry you are, tell them how bad it is. It's okay to get mad. Don't keep those emotions to yourself. You need to get it out, because adults can help you. And sometimes a mom would go, it's not that bad. Then you tell her, Mom, it's really, really bad. Or you talk to an auntie, or you talk to a teacher. But you need to get help, because we don't want you to be one of the statistics.
Yeah, and it can happen so quickly.
Yes, very, very much so.
So how's your daughter now?
She's amazing. She did all the illustrations in my third book that just got published this week. She is going to do all the illustrations in all 5 books in the series. Her art is amazing. She's on Instagram under @Nairobis, and she draws faces. The emotions in faces. She is very, very good. She is doing it on electronically, so iPad, but with an art program. So she gets the stylus, she gets the paint brushes that you order, the different widths, the different textures, the different color paints, and then she starts from scratch like she would on a canvas, and she paints.
So was that a part of her healing? It started painting, or how did that come about?
She has always been an artist since she was about 4 or 5. She's been taking art lessons, and we've had everywhere in our house, we've got some of her paintings. When she was in grade 12 in IB Art, her teacher encouraged her to paint the pain, the darkness, the anger. And she did. It was scary. It was very scary. So she managed to get that out in her art. She also has a 3-foot painting that she had done that is now hanging in the hallways of the Sheldon Kennedy Center for Abused Family and Children. And that's at the University of Calgary. So her art has evolved since then, in the sense that she reads faces. She went through so much pain. She learned to read who was the bully, who was the one who didn't mean her any harm. And she's doing fabulous. She's working. She is thinking of going back and see what Houston is like. She was born in Houston. She has an amazing boyfriend. So the two of them are driving me crazy. They're so gaga over each other. She's good.
Nice.
But she changed her friend circle. She quit cold turkey.
All the dark friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's such a great story, because it has a very happy ending.
Yes.
And your daughter is an amazing young woman now. So that's absolutely fabulous. So tell me, what do you like about speaking?
Speaking allows me,
Or should I say, sorry, sharing your story?
telling my story. If I could save one child's life, if I can encourage one parent to go back and the actions they've been seeing happening, that they realize their child might be bullied and that they could sit down and have a conversation with this child, then I know that I did something good. That is my passion, to reach people, to help young people. If you're a teacher, if you're a coach, if you're someone who wouldn't necessarily have kids, you're an auntie and you have nieces and nephews. To me, it is so important to help our youth today, who they are so bombarded by social media, the big one is social media. They are bombarded by pressures from their peers to dress a certain way, from the teachers, do your school assignments, from the parents, be a good child, and sometimes from the parents, go get me some drugs, you can have some as well. From peers, I have something that will help you to feel better. If what I say can help one teenager that night, then I will feel that I'm fulfilling my destiny in this lifetime.
Well, I'm sure you have already done that.
I
I'm
hope
sure
so.
you already have done it. So, are you scheduled to share your story at any Women Talk in the near future?
I have to book back because my third book has been published.
Yay! So, by
Yes.
the way, 3 books. Now, I don't have the pictures here, but I do have your website, and it is also in the comments below. But if people want your book, what's the best way to purchase your books?
They could go to Amazon.com. My books are being published on the US side, and they can just search for me. And the first book is called On the Edge. The second book is Upside Down. And the third book is called Who Am I? And they will be able to see that the cover pages are drastically different now because my daughter took over and she's going to zip this whole series into shape with her illustrations.
Wonderful. Well, what I'll get you to do is you're going to go and put all the names of your books in the comments here so people
I will
can
do
find
that.
them. And you also just started a YouTube channel.
Yes.
So that's also in the comment. What do you do in there?
The YouTube channel is about the stories of people who have gone through bullying, horrendous times when they were younger. The one that's on now is about Tom, who he found out he was gay when he was in school, yet he dated girls, he tried to fit in. And I love this young man. He is a DJ at a local radio station. He's an amazing artist. He's a photographer. And he shared his story.
Oh, wow.
So that was
Very
the first
cool.
one. Yes, Tom is just a fabulous, talented young man.
Wonderful. Well, if you want to go and watch Irma's video, just go to her YouTube channel, which is in the comments below. Thank you for joining me, Irma. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and I'm sure that I'll be seeing you very soon.
Thank you so much for having me, Brigitte. I love you.
Woo, I love you too. Wow, thanks for joining me. And don't forget, everyone, we have our holiday events for the month of December. Come and sing a song, share a recipe, or just have a drink with me. That's all. right? And we just hang out and have a good time and learn. It's kind of like peek into other people's homes and see what they do for the holidays. It's so much fun. So thanks for joining me, and don't forget, next week we have the amazing Susan Jansen, who's going to come and share her story and hopefully sing a song. Nice hanging out with you on this Friday morning. Bye for now. And remember to share your story.